Welcome, gathered friends, to the Chima Retrospective. I'm your host, Paleozoic Bricks, and today we're looking at set 70013, Equila's Ultra Striker. It was released in the winter wave of January 2013. It came with 339 pieces, and it retailed for $39.99. As the battle rages on, more efficient equipment is needed. The time to strike is now with the Ultra Striker. This set was a Target exclusive in the US. It was also a Smith's exclusive in the UK, just like its counterpart with Razor's Chi Raider being a Walmart exclusive. Starting off with the minifigs, this set has 2 eagles and 1 wolf. First, let's look at the titular Equila. He is the ace pilot of the Eagle tribe, known for his great skills in the Eagle jets. One nickname of his is the dive-bombing Daredevil. This is all ironic to me, seeing that he is in this set and not in the Interceptor. While being the ace of the Eagles, he is also the announcer for speeder races on Market Day, a job he is well suited for with his energetic personality. In this set, he comes with the Royal Valius of Unity, the twin blade to the Royal Valius. They were seen by the Lion tribe as symbols of the divine power of creation and destruction that created Chima. The Gravis, seeing the conflicts grow ever more dangerous, gifted the blade to the Eagle tribe as a seal of the allegiance between the tribes. This was a pact to always keep Chima united. Eagler is the gadget bird of the Eagle tribe, specializing in ballistics and primitive rocketry. In his talons, a twig can become an explosive missile. Given enough time, he can calculate the exact speed and trajectory needed to launch a pebble halfway across Chima. The issue is, by the time his calculations are completed, the battle is already over. Eagler comes with the Jacoba, a standard spear in the world of Chima, a very replaceable weapon if you can't remember where you last put it, or if you fell asleep on guard duty and somebody stole it. Yeah, just blame the wolves or the ravens, what could possibly go wrong? Wilhurt is just war is, but without any of his redeeming qualities. There is a reason why Wars is the pack leader. His existence is to hunt and fight. Best keep him occupied. When not doing anything, he can go a little crazy. If he goes too long without hunting, well, let's not think about that. A notable error on LEGO's website is that of a render of Wilhurt shown with a cape. In all of his set appearances, Wilhurt never comes with a cape. Yes, he comes in sets with capes, but he himself has never had the apparel. Wilhurt comes with the Jahaka staff, a favorite among the wolf tribe. Both the handle and the blade are made of black metal. It's a perfect choice for the barbaric wolf tribe. With the rise of combat-driven themes in the 2000s and 2010s, in the marketing, LEGO would pair certain sets of a similar price range together. Some examples include Guardian of the Deep and Typhoon Turbo Sub from Atlantis, the Stealth Hunter and the Fire Vulture from Exoforce, and, let's say, Ice Dragon and Turbo Shredder from Ninjago. It's a practice that still has not gone by the wayside for the better. Another example of this being done is with the Arc Dragon of Focus and Thunderfang the Chaos Dragon. But this is a rarer and rarer occurrence as the years go by, seeing how themes like Ninjago, the villain factions have very few sets to their names. A great example is Imperium, having a few builds but only one set to their name, and with a name like Imperium, thought should conjure up of an empire like Warhammer 40k's Imperium. Well, even if in 40k, the Imperium is arguably on the decline. But this was when heroes and villains of a theme were still on relatively equal footing. The reason I bring this up is for how Chima paired its sets. Skipping Rascal's glider for now at least, every set has its adversary. But one thing that has always irked me is that there are 2 pairs of sets that are paired together, but I find switching them puts them on better footing. They are the Eagle Interceptor with the Pack Tracker, and the retail exclusive pair of the Chi Raider and the Ultra Striker. I think the Eagle Interceptor has a better adversary in the Chi Raider, and vice versa. The air vehicles battle it out in the sky, and the land tanks duke it out on the ground. I think the reason these sets are swapped out for each other in the marketing is because the Chi Raider and the Ultra Striker are retailer exclusive, something that gets very little marketing besides being on store shelves. I think it's fine for the marketing to be that way, but I would recommend when it comes to displaying these sets, try pairing the Eagle Interceptor with the Chi Raider and the Ultra Striker with the Pack Tracker. Finally, delving into the Ultra Striker itself, it's one of the most Chima designs in the entire series, or at least the first wave. It's a very unique tank shape, with the rockets on the side and the talons in the front. The best way to describe its shape is an eagle dive bombing. It's a very inspired build to say the least. But let's talk about the talons in the front a bit more. Overall, they're probably not the best when it comes to full-on combat, but let's be honest, the rockets on the wings are the artillery. They might be able to get a slower soldier, but they feel more like set dressing to give it that dive bomb look. I feel the Claw Ripper is still one of the best vehicles for melee combat. Is what I would have said before I had the chance to talk to one of the creators of Chima, John Daravlani. Based on future events in the story, or really past events, I had certain questions, mostly retaining to the 1,000 Years of Peace, and why the animals have what I presume are war machines in a presumed time of peace. The answer is...
As for why these tribes had war machines in a time of peace, that's a really good question. The simple answer is... because they're cool! But the story is more like this. Yes, everyone was at peace, but all these tribes are still animals, predators, hunters, and prey. So yes, they evolve into humanoid characters, but there's still deep animal instinct in them that is focusing on protecting territory and exerting dominance. And while there was peace, I'm sure there were occasional skirmishes over turf. I don't think the wolves were completely peaceful. They were at best reluctant about peace. Same with the crocodiles. However, despite a skirmish or two, they were able to resolve their differences with the help of the lions, or through racing speeders. So yes, there was an overall peace, but it was not absolute. So they've still built defensive tools, gadgets, and weapons. But also, all those tanks and vehicles came in really handy when dealing with the rugged and dense natural world of Chima. You need some pretty solid vehicles to get through that environment. So they weren't necessarily war machines. They were more like all-terrain vehicles that could be outfitted for war if needed.
I feel that I've been looking at the set design all wrong. While yes, they are weapons of war, they are also used for traveling. I'd imagine the talons are extremely useful in slicing up tough plants similar to a machete. With the Claw Ripper, it's a bit easier to see that it's a smaller vehicle that doesn't have any blasters. I think that I just get distracted by the large guns on both the Ultra Striker and even the Royal Fighter. Looking back, I feel the claws on the side of the set are in a similar position, if not exclusively used for slicing plants. Viewing the features, the talons are described as for clearing roads, which says a lot about the plant life in Chima. Does it grow that fast? Or are the roads used that little? Being that outland plants produce poisons and are said to be thorny, some accounts even say they eat creatures whole. It has to be a necessity in the land of Chima. But even if the talons are more for terrain removal, they almost certainly have a place in combat, and are part of why the Ultra Striker has such a distinctive shape. Before we move on, the claws are removable as they are on a Technic pin. Well, at least the talons on the side, not the one in the middle. That one's stationary. Another part of why the shaping is so unique is the integration of the wings. Right now they are very close to the vehicle, in more of a transportation mode. But if we bring up the wings, pull out the stands, and on the cockpit splay out the feathers, we now get it in an attack mode. Now it really looks like a dive-bombing eagle swooping in to catch its prey. With the stands, that means the wings are able to hold any position that is needed. so it's possibly less of an attack mode and more about angling the cannons the correct way. Speaking of the cannons, it's back. The glorious Technic Competition Cannon. This time, there are 2 of them for twice the fun. Another showing of how generous LEGO was with them in Chima sets. Just like an Eris Eagle Interceptor, it's recommended to put Equila's wings on the set itself so he can fit in the cockpit. Just like the previously mentioned set, it blends in perfectly. Moving a bit inwards on the wings, there's this set spot for the Chi crystals. They have tubes connected to them, which power the rockets. Another very inspired use of how Chi works on vehicles. Looking more at the treads and their location, we can see it's more like an H-tank, similar to Armada Megatron. Moving to the back, there's a huge wheel, and over it is the Eagle's tail. It all rounds out the vehicle perfectly. It's a very simplistic build, only using a few parts, but it's all it really needs. The tail is also movable on a ratchet joint, same with the lower feathers near the wheel. But what happens if this tank is hit really badly by enemy forces? Well, on the back, if we push this red ball, the cockpit launches out, becoming an escape pod for Equila. This creates symmetry between the Eagles in the first wave. Note how I said the first wave and not the first year. This will be important in the future. The head feels a lot more bulky compared to the pod in the Eagle Interceptor. I think the wings on the side do a lot of the heavy lifting, making it feel bigger. It feels very similar to Blacktron 2 with how the larger sets in the lineup all had interchangeable pods that were distinct from one another. Sadly, they are not interchangeable, mostly due to how both are attached. Hey, get those Blacktron sets off the screen. Both sets go about putting the head on in extremely different ways. The Interceptor has it on ratchet so it can scan the ground, and the Ultra Striker has it launch off the main body. I wish the heads were interchangeable, but I understand why both are proprietary. But I feel having a modular design would help the Eagles out in the long run. One of this set's biggest issues is the red balls that indicate where the function is. They go way too hard against the color scheme and make the set feel way too toyetic. If they were a neutral color, well, that's one thing, but it's the only bit of red that are not axles, because at least the small axles serve a purpose, that being ease of build. This shows off a gimmick that in this wave alone was seen in another set that didn't have a red ball that shows it fires. But I feel this is more of an issue on the cannons rather than on the back of the vehicle. Chances are you wouldn't even notice it on the back if it wasn't red. Plus, the way the set is designed, it's practically hidden already. Luckily, there is an easy fix. Buy Technic ball parts in either blue or dark azure. Up to you to choose a color, whatever floats your boat. Equila's Ultra Striker is a fine addition to any Legends of Chima collection. It rounds out the Eagle faction, giving them a tank they can call their own. With certain design choices, it shows off how Chima vehicles are made for all-terrains first, combat second. I don't think this set is an absolute must-get, but it's another set that adds a lot to the world and the Eagle tribe. I'm Paleozoic Bricks, and unleash the power.